Can I have some hand sanitizer, please?
Yes, you may. Hey.
It smells like
Does it smell
paint.
alright?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it smells of paint.
It genuinely
It's
smells
alright, it
of
smells of paint.
paint. This is a recurring theme we've got hand sanitizer in the gym, and it smells like tequila.
That's right.
We've got hand sanitizer in the gym. It smells like tequila.
I use the hand sanitizer at the gym as a literal pick-me-up.
Can you imagine just being in the gym, just minding your own business, doing some bicycle, and Elliot's in the corner going...
And there's your cold open for this episode.
So,
Anyway,
hello and welcome back to the WePC Podcast. I'm Elliot. I'm usually here, but we're here with Danielle.
Hello.
She is our resident dungeon master and new lead of GamingVerdict.com.
Overlord of Game of
Overlord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Overlord.
I liked the title Overlord. It felt right.
Overlord. And then we are here with our videography person, Jay.
You butchered that.
I was going to say videographer.
Really good intro, and then videography J.
I was going to say videographer, and then it kind of just shot me in the
didn't
arm
do it.
midway through. So
Videography J.
this is videography J.
Hello. Love it.
Welcome, videography J.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Oh no.
But yes, we are here this week in the WePC, soon to be BGFG podcast. I sound like Boris Johnson. The BGFG
Nice.
podcast.
That's who we aspire to sound like.
With Tim Tams and
Well, to be fair, we're listening to him. He did say go to work.
Yes.
And we are at work.
we are controlling the
That was
virus.
a pretty good Boris Johnson impression.
We've
Thank
got
you.
hand sanitizer.
And it smells awful.
It smells awful.
Hyperclean alcohol gel hand sanitizer. If Hyperclean want to get in touch and sponsor us, we can make a squeaky clean sponsorship deal there.
I feel like
Squeaky
every
clean.
time we ask for a sponsorship, it just goes lower.
Yeah.
We're just letting the bar lower and lower.
Yes.
We'll take anything at this
We
point.
went NordVPN raid Shadow Legends. Now we're just here. Hand
sanitizer.
sanitizer.
I mean, it's very topical.
Yes. So this week in the WePC podcast, to move on from this discussion into the actual discussion at hand, is how well do they hold up? So what we've done is we've gathered a few games from each generation, and we're going to talk through the merits of each generation and how well we think those games hold up. And then we'll come to today's generation, soon to be the PlayStation 5. And we'll see about what PS4 games you think is going to hold up into the future, or Xbox One games, or sack PC off, because we're not WePC. And then
You've missed out something very important from your intro.
Nintendo.
No, not
Oh,
that.
okay.
But yes. What, you didn't tell them what episode it is.
Oh,
You missed
See,
our
the
running
issue
joke.
with this is
we
we're
don't
not-
have the whiteboard.
We are usually in that boardroom, and people think it's a meme that we keep scratching out, but it's just so we remember episode
Yeah,
8.
and we don't have that, and now it's...
8?
8?
This could be
I
8.
don't know,
It could
dude.
be
I'm
8.
not in charge of the
If
podcast.
the title says 8, it's 8. If it doesn't say 8, we're wrong.
Of what is it, 7 out of 73? 74?
Now we
No,
scrapped
it's
that. Now we're just going to keep going eventually.
8. We are on episode 8.
Hey.
We were going to reveal Mitch on episode 73, but then I broke my back, and now Mitch is...
You properly
Mitch
broke your back.
exists
It was
now.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was genuinely hilarious. So we'll start out with the first generation. Now, for first generation, what we're going with there is not PC and Atari and all those sort of things. We're going with the PlayStation 1, the original PlayStation and the original Xbox, and any game that came out around that 2000 to 2004 mark.
That's very specific.
Thank you. But yes,
Wasn't the PlayStation earlier than that?
The
though?
PlayStation 1 was in the
90s.
95.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive then. So
I don't remember past
I don't
2004.
And to be
Remember.
fair, I'm talking about the Game Boy anyway, because it was
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah, well,
well-ish.
that's-
Game
yeah.
Boy was 89.
Yeah, I think Game Boy is probably the best to start on, because I think specifically our
Okay,
age,
okay.
it was mainly the Game Boy, and then like the Nintendo 64, but that doesn't
Yeah.
hold up anymore. So
I
we're just
still have my original Game Boy, and it still works.
nice. What version did you get?
Like the Game Boy, the big brick,
Yeah.
the original Game Boy, and I've got a purple Game Boy Color.
I had the Game Boy Advance where it was like see-through, and you could see like the insides of
I
it.
always wanted one of those see-through ones. They looked so cool.
It was great, and then I got a Pikachu one because I got Pokemon Pinball or something. Great
Was it
game.
But
that
no, I'm
yellow?
talking
That
about
was
the
the
big
yellow
grey
one, wasn't
one, like the big solid brick grey one.
big
that still
salted brick.
works. Solid, not
Oh,
salted.
It's weird
A
because
big salted brick games console.
it's so weird because you always think, like, everyone always used to think of 2020 as like flying cars, and we're like, oh, we've not even came that far. But you have to think, when we used to play games on the Game Boy, you would literally have to sit in the perfect lighting
Yeah.
you would have to alter contrast yourself. We
Yeah,
were
I
basically visual technicians at the age of like 5. And then now we've got like LCD screens and OLED
Yeah, you
screens.
couldn't play it in the car on the
Did you
night
have one of
journey
them
home.
lights though? I had one of the lights that went over your
Yes.
Game Boy, so you could play it in the dark.
couldn't
You
afford
came
that.
far. You've got one of those now over your monitor as well in work. So
I do. I have a BenQ screen bar reading. I can't remember what it's called. It's a really long title, but it's
my
amazing.
lights on the top of my Game Boy was the street lights in the car, and every
Yeah.
5 seconds you'd be like, "Move forward,
Yeah.
okay, attack."
But we've gone from that now to you can literally, I don't know if you've seen in Teslas now, you can basically play Mario Kart with the wheel. So they've got a
What?
big iPad. It's not actual Mario Kart. If I can find some footage, I'll put it over the top. But on the Tesla now, because you've got this massive screen, it's like twice the size of an iPad. When you're parked, you can play like a Mario Kart type game with the steering wheel, and then like you can throw stuff, and it looks incredible.
Excuse me, what?
Well, Elon Musk is a
Okay.
big nerd and big gamer, so he just wanted it. So he's bringing more games to it. So it's gonna be a matter of time so you can play Call of Duty in your car.
I can't
know.
wait till we're on the space shuttle to Mars, playing Surviving Mars. It's just gonna be great. Like,
That'll be perfect. So we're starting with the Game Boy then again.
Well, we're just
Game
it's
Boy,
that
PlayStation
period.
1, that
period.
that era.
Yeah, that
Okay.
era. 89 to 99, shall we say?
2004.
Okay.
No, but that's when it released, so.
Do you want to go first then? Because I know you're
Sure.
eager for this.
I
one.
actually, because I got ribbed last time I was on the podcast because I didn't prepare.
You didn't.
You got to her. She's not wrong. You didn't.
You're not wrong.
I still had plenty of great talking points. Excuse me. So I've got notes this time. I want to swear at you, but I don't want to do it on camera.
When this camera shuts off, you're in trouble.
I'm swearing at you under the table right now.
She is.
I am.
I can confirm this is happening.
So anyway,
This is a family-friendly podcast.
I was going to talk about Pokemon on the Game Boy because obviously I know we have had
that
heated
one coming.
discussion about Pokemon in the past, but for me, that's Game Boy. That's what Game Boy is to me. Like I had a bunch of other games. I had like Tetris and Zelda, but I didn't play them as much as I played Pokemon. And I was looking back like for this, I was like looking it up, and I forgot that Game Boy was green. Like graphics were just different shades of green and black, not black and white. Green and black, and I'm not really sure why, but I was looking at that. It's not massively different from what the game is. I mean, what the game is now, but like the DS versions of Pokemon,
Yeah.
it's not massively different.
Correct.
But that's why I like it.
But it's not held up.
I think it has.
Something
has help.
can't.
I would happily play that.
When you
on
say
my
held
Game
up,
Boy.
what do you specify holding up as?
No, for me,
You
like,
mean you can
I'd
go back
say
and play it
You
now?
can go back and play it with the same enjoyment.
100%.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
it's got its
No,
own
no,
visual
no, no.
style. It's one of those I would go back and play.
You can go back and play Pokemon, but as I've covered in past podcasts quite profusely, it is gone stale. It is just no longer
Yeah, no,
enjoyable.
it's awful now. But you're talking about going back.
There you go.
It doesn't hold up now in the sense that like the games that are recent now are just awful.
I think
Yeah.
Pokemon Sword isn't great, but that's not an old game holding up. That's a new game that they've tried to refresh it and it hasn't worked.
Yeah,
The
because
original
they're
Pokemon
not-
game still holds up because that's when it was great.
They've tried to refresh it now to the point where they haven't really. All they've included is Dynamaxing, really, and that's not. We need new story, new visual art. It can't just be the same.
But that's not the
Over
game
and over
holding
again.
up. That's a new game.
Your
That's the point.
You're like
That's
agreeing with us.
Yeah, you're agreeing with us.
No,
but
no,
not saying-
I-
Your specification is that does it hold up in the sense that we would now go back and play it? I would dig out a Game Boy and play through
Yeah.
Pokemon Red.
Yeah,
in car
no,
as like
completely,
a nostalgic
but-
trip.
So it holds up.
You can't play it with the same enjoyment. Like I can go back and
I
play.
don't know.
I'm trying to think something from the PS1 era, like
I'm sorry, did you not prepare for this podcast?
But in the
Did you not think of any PS1 games that did you not prepare and make notes for this podcast? How
Final
unprofessional.
Fantasy X?
I knew that
I
was coming.
can go back and play in PlayStation 2 graphics, which are awful, any day. I've got it on next gen, but if the option was there, I would go back and play. If it wasn't remastered, I would continue to play because I did until it was remastered. It's one of
Because
those
it's enjoyable.
Yeah, it's enjoyable, and it's the same.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Pokemon. Even the really, really old version, I could go back and play. I downloaded Pokemon Red when I got a Nintendo 3DS on the eStore to go and play it. So I didn't choose to get Fire Red. I chose to get Pokemon Red because it's a fun game to see how far it's come since then. Because back in the day, I was like, "This is amazing." There's Pokemon thing. There's little animals in this hand thing. I was amazed. So now I go back and relive that and just laugh at my old self. But it does hold up.
So your
100%.
mum was like
Yeah.
Jedi power battles.
Never heard of it.
No, I've
it's
never heard of it
good.
either.
I've mentioned it in a different podcast, and basically what it was episode 1 Jedi Power Battles, and it was just a hack and slash like game where you basically went through episode 1. You would have thought there would have been episode 2 and 3, and no, just episode 1.
They just picked the best movie out of the franchise to make a game for.
Oh no.
Danielle.
Oh no.
How could you?
Oh no.
There goes half of our viewership. But no, like that, I'd happily go back and play. Tomb Raider, the original one, I'd happily go back and play. Like, because they're good games, they hold up.
Like Pokemon.
It does.
And you have to think the art style of Pokemon and that kind of like 8-bit thing now is replicated in newer games. So I played a game on the Switch called Octopath Traveler, which is a modern RPG in an old style of art. So that type of art, people aren't going to be like, oh, it's outdated now, because people want that, but in their newer games now. So even like if they remade Pokemon Red in that same art style, but with like somewhat updated things, so like 3D generated backgrounds, but with that same visual style and in color, people would play it.
People would play it.
It'd be great, and that's what people want. People don't want these new Pokemon games. When they do any Pokemon Direct now, all the comments are, we want a remake of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, because they did Red and Blue, now they want Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They want those remakes. They don't want, we want a new mainline Pokemon game. They're over that now. They want the old games remastered because that's what they want to go back to.
Yeah,
so
but
you
if you
can't
go
say
back
that
to
Pokemon is not holding up, because it very much is.
Also, the old Pokemon, like first-gen Pokemon, are clearly the best Pokemon. All these new ones, like, there's one made out of like a teapot, and there's like an ice cream one, and I'm like, what?
In Pokemon Black,
the actual Pokemon themselves.
The actual Pokemon themselves, they're
There
really
was
scraping now to come up with new Pokemon ideas.
There was a bag. It was like Tubbish or something. It's like it was a bag on Pokemon Black, and when it evolved,
Tubbish.
it rolled from a bag of rubbish into a split bag of rubbish, and it was called Trubbish.
Wow.
That's how far we've gone. But to be honest, like, how many Pokemon can you create at this point? You've got like 1,000 now.
I just don't know why we need so many new ones.
We don't.
What's wrong with the originals from Kanto?
Different reasons.
I want to say Kanto. Oh my god, it's been
Kanto?
so long.
Kanto,
Kanto was the original, then
Kanto,
Johto,
then Johto.
and then Sinnoh, and then wherever we are now, Galar. But I'm sure there was something in between because I didn't have a 3DS, so I missed out.
But yeah, Pokemon definitely holds up.
Yeah.
If you disagree, then we'll agree
Then
to
you're
disagree.
wrong.
It's too
Yeah.
good.
If you disagree, then you're wrong.
See, but the thing is, if I could have any Pokemon game, I'd have Ruby.
That's fair enough. They made a Omega Ruby on the 3DS, which was a remake of it.
I didn't have a 3DS.
Yeah, no, but would you go back and play Ruby now?
On an emulator, yeah, probably.
There you go. It holds
Then
up.
it holds up.
Damn.
It's the small victories that mean the most.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Should we move on to next
PlayStation
gen?
2. Yeah,
PS2.
next generation. So PS2, Xbox 360.
No,
No, that was-
PS2. And
That
then-
was the...
Xbox
mean,
360 is PS3. beep. I mean beep.
PS1.
What was-
So we had the PS1, obviously, but
Yeah.
in terms of like cultural impact, PS2 really kind of like did the thing, didn't it? Like it
PS
really,
yeah, that was
because I had a PS1. I remember the PS2 coming out. I remember my mum getting me as a surprise, and I was like, I remember playing it, and I was like, wow, oh my god! And then that's where it all began.
Would you class GameCube then on this level?
I didn't have a GameCube. PS1 and
One, I
GameCube?
think it was around that time. I know my friend had. Oh, I don't know. We just had PlayStation, really. I know my friend had a GameCube.
I think GameCube was PS2 because they had Harry
Well,
Potter
do you
games
know
on it.
what?
They
No,
did.
'cause they had Harry
I've
Potter
got
and the
a
Prisoner.
laptop in front of me, so let's
I played
Google.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban on the GameCube and Pokemon Coliseum, and they were released the same time as the
Pokemon
PS2.
Coliseum.
2001, the
Yes, so
GameCube
that-
was released.
So that's got to be about the same time, surely.
So
That's the same
that's-
generation.
As what? PS2?
PS2.
Two.
Let's see.
That was
PS2 came in
2003.
2005, maybe?
I was thinking 3.
PS2 was
2000.
2000. So
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah,
PS2, so we're on the
It
same.
would have been that. I would have thought so because the games that released on PS2, some of them released on there. Pokemon Coliseum, by the way.
Pokemon Coliseum, I would
Pokemon
agree.
Stadium was the OG, but that was on Nintendo
But that's
64.
like that's the thing. That's like that's why I like where Pokemon are going now with their photo game that's coming out and
Snap.
Pokemon Snap.
and
Pokemon,
the other
did anyone
one.
try Pokemon Teeth or whatever it's called? Pokemon Smile, where you brush your teeth on Pokemon.
No, but I did think that was a really cute idea.
It's good for kids. Like if you got your kid and you don't want to brush their teeth, that's a great way of doing it. But I don't think
Come
anyone's
on,
going to be doing any
Charmander.
Let's Plays on Pokemon Smile.
Do you know what I
anytime soon.
miss? I miss the height of Pokemon Go. That was a
Pokemon
really
Go.
fun summer.
Oh my God, when Pokemon Go came out, I've not seen so many people be so social to one another.
It was so weird. Like I managed to convince my brother, like, please, can we just do like a little Pokemon Go like trip to like one of the hotspots to get something? So we went to this temple near us, because this is when I was living in Japan. We went to this temple near us, and there was just like 30 people there at 10 p.m. all just sat playing Pokemon Go. I was like, this is just lovely.
I went to Liverpool the first day it came out. 'Cause I
just
didn't
think
know.
it's so nice.
Everyone
was just...
It's that contrast then. I went to a temple in Japan. I was
you
in
imagine?
Liverpool.
Can you imagine all these like kind of monks just going about their day, just kind of
They weren't monks,
praying?
they were just people.
Danielle's like, Charizard!
It was just normal, everyday people. We're just all hanging out at the temple
If you
playing.
didn't know, Danielle has been to every single country in the world.
Not.
But yeah, no, Pokemon Go
really
in its prime was absolutely unreal. Because I remember when I used to go to Liverpool and there'd be like quite literally 100 people, but people that weren't onto what was going on were really confused. Because, I mean, this was like nowadays, like everyone's got every Pokemon. It's not hard anymore. But back then, like legendaries weren't there. Getting a Charizard was like a big deal. And I remember a Gyarados spawned at the dock area, and you literally a stampede of people started roaring. Everyone was like, Gyarados! And if you're just there with your kids, you're like, what the hell is going on?
Is it Gyarados or Gyarados?
Gyarados.
It's GY.
Yeah, so Gyarados?
Gyarados.
Nah.
Well, I don't...
No,
That's
let's
just
not get into
us.
this because it's
No.
also Kyogre, not Kyurrogue or whatever people call it.
What?
The
What
one
word
from
are you
the one
saying?
from Sapphire, the little dolphin dude, is Kyogre, not Kyogre. And then people say Rayquaza instead of Rayquaza. No, let's just
You're just making noises now.
yeah, we'll just move on. It's different pronunciation.
So,
yeah.
second generation, PS2.
Final Fantasy 10.
I mean, I knew that was... I was going to talk about Final Fantasy, but I thought, cheers on this one.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, Final Fantasy is not what it is anymore. So, but in terms of holding up, I go back and play them. I downloaded
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 10, 8, 9,
I do.
10, 10-2, and 12 on my Switch. And I've been playing them all, so I go back and play them. And it's not even like a, oh, that's just because you're a fan of those games. My first game was 10, which was the full HD, so I had no interest in the ones beforehand, which were really, like, really badly made.
Yeah.
But then I went back and played them, and I really enjoyed them, so they clearly hold up because they're still interesting. Final Fantasy 7 is one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time, and Cloud is literally a triangle. His arms are a circle.
Like, I really want to do a cosplay of the Final Fantasy 7 characters, but like fully how they were in the PS1
Polygons,
game. So just
yeah.
the giant, like, just cube hands.
And he walks
just
around
like
like
this.
this.
That's what I wanted. I really want to do that as a cosplay.
But they're disastrous graphics. Like, the graphics are quite literally appalling. But even then, I still put 40 hours into that game.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely holds up. So, but that was Final Fantasy 7 was actually PS1. So
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 10 was the first fully HD 3D modeled game in the Final Fantasy franchise.
And the first one with voice acting.
And the first one voice acting, yeah. And there's one scene with like Yuna when she's doing she's doing this like sending where she's like spinning and the hair's moving and stuff, and it's the first time you'd see like individual hair particles moving. It cost them so much money to do it, but I remember seeing that. Like, if you go and watch the Final Fantasy 2 cinematics from PlayStation 2 now, you would not even think that was made in 2003. You would think that came out last week because they were so ahead of their time in their cinematics that you wouldn't even tell that it's dated. It's wild, that game. So that definitely holds up because I've gone back and played that game 1,000 times. I've put thousands of hours into that game and it's only a 100-hour game, so that says a lot about me.
I've always said every single podcast I'm on, the best game of all time is The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
It's brilliant.
It's one of the best co-op games you'll ever play. No, but you can play single player. But
Okay.
It's better if you play
I don't
with
like
friends.
people.
It's always nice when you play with friends. And no, but
I
like...
don't have any friends.
I don't have any friends. But that for me holds up the same way that the movies hold up. So like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King will be one film that will, not to paraphrase Charlie here, stand the test of time. But will absolutely go through like everything. There will be, for me, it's one of the best films ever made. And that game tying into it is just a really good game. Also, you've got like probably Legend of Zelda, like Ocarina of Time, things like that, which again, possibly one of the most critically acclaimed games.
My first Zelda game was Breath of the Wild.
Same. Well,
I played on Game Boy, but not
had it.
properly.
Yeah, I had it on Game Boy and stuff, but I didn't really play it properly. And then I played on my Switch. I played Legend of Zelda because you know if you do like the Nintendo Online or whatever it's called, you got them arcade ones. So I started playing. I was like, I had no idea what was
What's
going
going
on.
on?
Like, I was like, how does this game work? What's
They've just done
happening?
that as well. They've just released Zelda Breath of the Awakening. Oh, no, Breath of something.
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening, which is an old school Zelda game, and it's been remastered, but it's
Yeah.
still the same core mechanics. So it's still like an 8-bit thing, but it's all remastered. So it's one of those, like, people do still want those old graphics, which is it's an art style at this point. Back then it was just what we had, but now it is a genuine art style that is appreciated for what it is. So
And then on top of that, I'd say God of War.
I only played the newest
Right.
one.
Yeah,
God of War
same.
ruined
We're
for
really
me.
not good gamers, are we? Like,
God
I've
of
only
War.
played the new games.
I really need to go through a list of like classic games that I've not played.
I'm
Hands
so bad
down.
at God of War as well.
Hands down, God of War is one of the best franchises of all time. I will stand by that statement.
It very well could be. I haven't
No,
experienced
no,
it, so I can't really argue.
I'm telling
I'm
you.
telling you it is.
Okay, well,
Like if you, the best addition to that is what happened in the latest gen, but we'll get to that later.
oh wow,
Yes.
look at that foreshadowing.
Oh. But then you also had I got a list of games up
You've prepared now, have
prepared. But you've also got like Kingdom Hearts and then Bully. And things
Bully was
like
a
that.
fantastic
Yeah.
game. Oh my god.
you? Do you want to know what my second gen game is?
Yeah, go on.
Guitar Hero.
I knew that was coming.
Guitar is a great.
But like,
game.
it
Such a
so
party
stands up
game.
because when I
Literally
go
just came up.
to like arcade bars and they have a Guitar Hero, I am gonna queue up.
Yeah.
And
We did.
we did when we went, and I am gonna pay the extra money to play that game. I'm gonna pay £2 a game because it's Guitar Hero and
Guitar is
it's
such a
great.
feel-good game.
And like this was around the time when like I was getting extra like bits and pieces to go with your console. It wasn't just the console. Like I had the guitar for Guitar Hero. I had a game called, I think it was called SingStar or something.
SingStar, yeah.
And it had a microphone and you would like sing along and it would track your singing on it.
Oh my god.
And like, I mean, I had a dance mat for the PS1 as well, but it was more this stage when you started getting all these, like, they were trying to make gaming more, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
what,
that's when they were releasing like guns and stuff for like shooting games.
yeah,
and
there
stuff.
was
They
all
were
these
fantastic.
accessories that came with it.
Two that have come up: Simpsons Hit and Run.
Simpsons Hit and Run. How
Simpsons
did we
Hit and Run.
forget?
It's the game everyone wants to be remastered, and there's no way they're not doing it because it's such a financial, obvious thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
that'll sell millions.
That was such a good game. I remember we got a demo of it with like PlayStation Magazine.
You just shot endorphins into my brain with one.
And then
Simpsons Hit and Run.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater, which is obviously still getting a remaster. But then that's the question: if something's getting a remaster, does that automatically mean it holds up over time?
Well, I don't know if it's getting it depends how much of a remaster. Like Final Fantasy VIII got remastered. They just updated a little bit of the graphics. It doesn't look any different unless you compare them side by side. Whereas you get games like Final Fantasy VII got a remake. It's completely different.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a different world.
It's a different world.
Oh no.
A whole new world.
I started that sentence and I didn't know where to finish it, so I just went with that.
Play your games. Sorry.
No one can tell us no.
But then obviously you got Vice City. I'm literally really.
Oh, I
looking
remember
Need for
Vice
Speed
City.
Underground
Vice
and
City,
Most Wanted.
Tony Hawk's I don't think stands up. Like, I'd play the remaster. I'd never go back and play the old one. Vice City is a different story. I got that on my iPhone. That's what's crazy now. You used to have a full
Apparently.
console TV.
Yeah.
Scott lead.
I have Final Fantasy VII on here.
Yeah,
Like-
it's crazy. Once Final Fantasy X gets released for mobile, it's over.
Making that jump from SCART lead to
HD.
RGB
Yeah.
plugins was
yeah.
different thing. And then
No, it wasn't. It was you went from free, so you went from the white, red, and black one to the
Yellow.
the extra 2 for HD, because then it was the green and the blue or whatever it was.
it
I
was like
whoa.
YGPR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what all these numbers mean, but HD.
HD.
Lovely.
But yeah, that's that's when that came in. HD gaming, like that was that
Yeah.
sort of end of the PS2 Xbox era was when the HD revolution started. Yes, thank you. But yeah, that's when that
Third gen.
the generation started coming in.
at that segue.
Segways, man.
It was such a big jump as
that
well,
segue.
though.
It was a huge
From
jump.
like PS1 to PS2 was like huge.
Yeah. That was PS1 to PS2 was ridiculous.
Harry Potter
Fair.
games.
Oh, I hated that Harry Potter game. Like I loved it, but I rage quit because I couldn't do it. It was the broomstick. I've mentioned this on this podcast before. This is how much it hurts my soul. It was that broomstick challenge. You had to fly through those rings. Never completed it. Tried it every time. Rage quit it. Gave up. Hated the game.
Bless me. Yeah, and it was always Madame Hooch being like, you can do better. You call that flying? I'm just like, I'm trying my best. The up is down, it's inverted.
There is a reason you didn't come back after episode 1, Madam Hooch.
Do you want to watch Madame Hooch?
What?
She did come back after episode 1.
I don't think she did.
She was in the books after episode 1, here and there.
Did she survive the Battle of Hogwarts?
I believe she did, but let's find out.
I mean, I feel like she would survive anything.
But yeah, the jump, I remember, because one of the most enjoyable things...
What does it say?
She is single.
Oh, yay.
Oh, well.
Title is Madam.
Lovely.
I mean, it's weird, because to me, a madam...
Oh, she survived.
Maybe not a character for a children's book.
She survived. Of course, no, wait, of course, she was in the... oh, God. She was in The Cursed Child. Like...
Moving swiftly on away from that subject. Yeah, one of the most exciting things I remember, like when you got the Xbox 360 or the PS4, if you wanted a game from a family member, you go, okay, I want this game. I loved the PS2, not knowing what I was going to get. It gets to Christmas and my mum would have like a bag full of games and I'm like, oh my God, Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. I got a Simpsons Hit and Run, all these games. And it was that excitement of having all these different games. Because when you get a game now, you plug it in, you just play that. And that's what you do now for the next few weeks. But it was that game, I just remember that undescribable feeling of being at Christmas and you have 5 games and you play like 10 minutes of that one. Oh, let's try to do one plus 10 minutes of that one. And you'd have all these games that you play intermittently.
I think the big difference between then and now is
digital.
The fact that you have to download games even with a disc, which is still the biggest bane of my life. Just stop it. I have a disc. I've bought the disc. Just let me put the disc in and play. I don't need to download 140 gigs of update. Activision, I am looking squarely at you here. But it just seems pointless then buying a disc.
Yeah.
It's
the only way it's not pointless is because when you finish it, you can then give it to your friends. Thanks, best friend Craig. He gives me all his games when he's played them, so I don't have to buy them.
You don't.
See, I will always buy a game. I will always buy a game digital now because you can play it on the midnight kind of release, which has killed both midnight releases and game stores. Which I mean, we said on another podcast, I've still no idea how game has stood the test of time. I really don't actually know.
Two counter. I can't speak either. 2 counter.
I don't know how that still exists. Because I buy everything digital now. I bought Final Fantasy VII early on disc just because I knew if I got it from Shop 2, I would get it a week early. Thanks, Shop 2. So if you ever want a game early on disc, you can get it from them.
Shop 2 will stand the test of time.
Shop 2 will definitely stand the test of time.
I just want an ident with Charlie's sleepy face right here. And just it's going to ding every time we say stand the test of time.
Just so we can put a bit of context for if this stays in the podcast.
It will.
Someone commented on the YouTube... one of the videos that Charlie presented saying, what was it? Do you have tired disease?
He has a tired disease.
Do you have a tired disease?
Charlie, who's never been on this podcast before, and unless you've seen our YouTube videos, he's one of our content writers. Content creators? I can't remember what the official job titles of anybody is.
He writes articles.
He writes articles. We don't know if he does it very well.
He does.
He does it very well.
He does it really well.
Videos
I just don't know how always tired he is, whether that plays a factor into it or not. But one YouTube commenter said he looked like he had tired disease, and it's the running joke of the office. So it's great.
Fair enough. Should we move to PS3 and Xbox 360?
Yeah.
That is
this where we
gen, isn't it?
Collaboratively sing the Halo 3 tune, or do we skip on that one this week?
I mean...
I thought it was a heavy reverb to that.
That was beautiful. Thank you for that, gents.
You are welcome.
You're so welcome.
Danielle, our designated singer of the group, didn't join in, so...
I've not played Halo 3. Guys.
Everyone knows the Halo 3 tune.
Have you ever been into a man's bathroom?
No. Anytime I walk through an alleyway...
Not when I can help it.
Or anywhere that has an echo now, it's kind of like an impulse to just go... to sing the song. Everyone looks at me like, what a loser.
Yeah. I hope how I'll look through that gets in the final cut.
But I think that was a staple point of gaming. If you got an Xbox, there's a 9 times out of 10 chance that you got Halo 3 with that console. And Viva Pinata, apparently. I got Halo, not Viva Pinata, and I feel really left out because it was meant to be really good.
Viva Pinata was alright.
I didn't have an Xbox. My brother had an Xbox, and I stole it off him for a short time to play Fable.
Oh my God, there's a new Fable game coming out.
I know, I'm so excited.
Without Peter Molyneux.
But let's just hope that everything that they announced for this Fable game actually,
Happens.
is in the Fable game.
Yeah.
Be a nice change.
Peter Molyneux, once again, looking at you.
Looking straight at you.
He's a fantastic guy, though.
But this was the generation of motion sense gaming. This
for me
Xbox Connect.
was a split generation. So
PS Move.
this was a generation of
Wii phones.
storytelling games.
Hmm.
This was where games went from being fun to being spectacularly narrative.
And very
That's-
competitive, because that's when online came out.
Yes,
I think
it's multiplayer.
PS3 and Xbox is when
Multiplayer
Xbox
started.
Live and PS...
Yes.
Plus.
No, it was just they gave theirs away for it. It was just
PSN?
PlayStation Network.
Yeah. And that was the big thing, is theirs was free and you could change your name for free, and Xbox was like £5 a month, and you had that stupid
Yeah,
dongle on the back of your PlayStation, on the back of your Xbox.
Xbox was like 150 quid cheaper, like 100.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was so. When it came out, that was one of the big gripes about the PS3, which they learned with the PS4, was how expensive they made that console.
See, I got my Xbox 360. I stole from a brother, not
just
from
from
a
a
store.
shop.
Theme going on here, Daniel.
Well, no,
Steele.
because he had moved to Japan and didn't take it with him, so I stole it.
And then you moved to Japan.
And then I moved to Japan, and he got a PS4, so I got his PS3.
Nice.
So I just literally, the first console that I actually bought from a shop was the PS4.
I was going to say, Danielle must be excited for November, so she gets the PS4.
No, I've got a PS4 now. But the Wii was a Christmas present. But
It always was.
like the majority of every kind of gaming console I've had is because my brothers had it and then got the new one, so I got their old one. So I was always like behind on everything.
Motion sensors is something I've brought up in all the podcasts, because the iToy was incredible. Seeing yourself on screen and you can play with the spiders and the wishy-washy and stuff. Oh, it was
I
great.
loved all that shit.
It was amazing.
Stuff.
That beep. And then they moved
Beep.
from that.
Beep.
This is the thing. This is another... Peter Molyneux, we're calling you out, actually. Project Natal was what eventually led to Kinect. Kinect was Project Natal, but they announced Project Natal as this most revolutionary thing. So they did a demo, and it was like... They had on the TV, and Peter Molyneux was talking to the kid on the screen, and they were passing
remember
stuff.
this.
He was passing stuff through the screen. He's playing with the water, and he was talking to this kid as if it was someone else in your room. And it's time in school, I was a bit of a loner. I was like, I'm really excited for this. I'm going to have an imaginary friend that exists, because I had no friends, and Peter Molyneux lied to me. So anyway, eventually came out, and all you could do is pretend to hold a lightsaber. Sorry, I said a lot about me in that sentence. But
Somebody play some Blondie real quick.
I mean, yeah, no, we had the Kinect because we all played on it together as like a family.
Great.
No. So my
My dad
experience was
left.
Hey,
every
same.
podcast. So my experience was very different from that. Like we were excited to get it because it was like something we could all do together.
But no, I'd like to preface this by saying I'll preface this by saying the Project Natal was announced in like 2008. So, and then the Kinect came out in like 2012. So I was talking about when it was announced 4 years ago.
I just have this image of this like Kinect advert, and it was like Jay just sat there in like a grey filtered room, just by himself playing on Xbox.
All around me,
And then on the other side is legitimately just Danielle and all of her family playing Kinect. And it's that polar opposite of, don't be a loner.
But we literally did, like, the Xbox Kinect was brought out on Christmas Day. Like, we always had everyone around to our place on Christmas Day, and we'd bring out the Xbox Kinect, and it was like me, both my brothers, my sister-in-law, my cousins, my dad. My mum wouldn't join it, and she's far too, mature for that. She just sits there and watches us going... But everyone joined, and you'd really have to jump over logs, because we had Kinect Sports and Kinect Adventures. I had to look it up to see what they were called, because I couldn't remember for the life of me. But they were great. It was like obstacle courses. You jump over stuff.
So
We're
you
just
think
not
it's
there
like-
yet with that stuff. Like
No.
PSVR is incredible, but it's not there.
It's not there yet.
It's still, yeah.
But once we get there, it'll be incredible, because the stuff that I've tried on PSVR is ridiculous. Because I got to try out the PSVR when it was in beta stage as a university documentary, because the Sony building was right next to ours, and I swindled my way into there. I had to sign an NDA and everything, but don't have to come to it now. But it was that realistic, because I was so used to really bad VR headsets, whereas this one was in full 4K, and I've never felt so immersed. I was like, this feels so real, to the point where at the end he was like, okay, you can put the gun down on the table and drop the controller in real life, because I was like, oh my god, because I started to just the wave of real life and VR just started to blend together, and I was like, oh no, what's going on? But it's a worrying thing also, because kids now, I mean, they're addicted to Fortnite. If they could start doing VR stuff, it's going to just turn us all into robots. So it's one of those kind of like blurred lines of, is this a good thing or not? But that's a topic for another week.
I'm waiting for the Oasis from Ready Player One. That's the dream.
We got to try out haptic suits.
We did.
Because we went to Vegas.
Not there again still. It's still
but
not there.
They weren't there yet, but they were fun though.
It's great.
Like these early like stage kind of haptic suits, they were really good fun. And I didn't get to try on the shoes though. There were shoes at one stall
game.
That was like you could like
that's where
walk
it is,
and it would like move it in game. Like there was some cool stuff going on at CES.
That's where it loses the immersion, because the Skyrim VR is wild, seeing a dragon, but then also it doesn't feel real because you're walking on a controller, so you just kind of like stood still, but you're moving and it's disorienting. So when you got the full setup of being able to walk, plus then make everyone really fit. Because you ain't gonna be bothered about doing 30,000 steps a day if you're running through Skyrim. So,
but I mean, talking of like video games, walking and being fit, while we're on 3rd gen, I had the Wii Fit board.
So did I. It told me I was a beast and I was 120 pounds.
I was extremely underweight.
Shocker.
My BMI was pretty much in the low 20s. Like it just didn't register me for quite a while.
Well, this was around the time I was still. What year was this? Like I was at school or college or something.
Wii Fit was a long time ago.
All right.
Because we got the Wii Fit, and I remember we took it to Australia with us because we were going to see my relatives in Australia. And we went there for a month, and he literally told me I was obese, and I was like, okay.
So Wii Fit came out 1st December 2007. So yeah, I was like,
I was in year 7, so I would have been 12.
See, that would have been more towards
I was older than that, but I was.
You were like 13 or 14, maybe.
No, I was in.
I'm 25.
No, I was in 2007. I finished high school in 2008. So.
I started.
That was my final. That was my final year.
I'm pretty sure that's when I started. Like,
wow.
High school.
We're a varied range of ages from the 90s in this room.
For me, PS3 was your Red Dead Redemption and your Last of Us and
a lot of big games basically.
Skyrim
came
Dark
out
Souls,
for the PS3.
God of War 3.
That was the war. It was the war of the exclusives at that point, because I always go on Xbox because of Halo, and then Halo started to see a decline. So then when PS4 came out, I was like, I'm making the switch.
See, I got an Xbox 360 purely because I wanted to play Gears of War.
Oh yeah,
which I think will always hold up, just because of how unique a game it is, even as a shooter. Game. Like, there's nothing else like it out there from a shooting perspective. And then obviously you had like Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, which again, 2 of the best games of all time, in my opinion. I think that's where DC, and if you haven't seen, DC are bringing out Arkham Knights, which is, and the Suicide Squad game looks really fun.
Suicide Squad kills the Justice League.
Yes,
I love that title.
It was the end of the trailer where Boomerang just comes in and is like, "So, who are we killing?" Oh no!
Nice accent, by the way.
Thank you.
But yeah, that was the generation, wasn't it? That was exclusive versus exclusive, and now it doesn't really exist. Like, ain't nobody getting an Xbox to get Halo anymore after seeing that grunt's face.
But and I think people would still get PlayStation to get to PlayStation. Well, I suppose they're starting to. Yeah, but then like they're coming at like Horizon Zero Dawn was like PlayStation exclusive. Now it's also on PC.
Call of Duty as well is also, and Destiny is PS4 first, and it's not like we get it 2 weeks early. It's months, like 3 months. Yeah. Xbox still don't have Spec Ops. Like, it was awful, but they don't have Spec Ops from COD yet. They get it in November. An entire year after the life cycle of a game when the new one releases. Like, that should... I mean, I'm a PS4 player, and I get it early, and I still don't believe that should exist. Everyone should have the same access to the same content. Spider-Man should be on
fully
PC.
Like moving on to 4th gen.
Sure.
I mean, the entire reason I got a PlayStation 4... So I got an Xbox One because I had an Xbox 360, and I thought the natural progression was to get an Xbox One, and I had an Xbox One pretty much all the way through university and everything like that when I could afford one. But it got to the point where last year I really wanted to play Spider-Man, and because I'd played God of War on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3, I really wanted a PS4. And so I was like, I really want a PS4, not because I want a PS4, because personally I think the actual PS4 system is atrocious. I think it's slow to load. I think it's incredibly slow. It's the only good thing it's got going for it is its graphic capability in comparison to the Xbox, but even then it's minimal.
But then Xbox have also brought out, because you've got the PS4 Pro, which isn't PS4 Pro got an SSD in it?
I believe so, yeah.
So that is faster.
But none of us have that.
I've got the original PS4 and it sounds like an
Yeah.
AC130 when you turn it on. It's so bad. I did a video for Gaming Verdict and it literally just goes in the background if I don't speak. It's awful.
But like that, for me, what Xbox had going for it with an Xbox One was their Game Pass, which PlayStation
Sony now
probably is
doing as well, which is
yeah.
great.
Which, again, I haven't had time to go and have a look at that. But for me, the exclusives is what made me buy the console. And looking at the exclusives next generation, I'm going to go with the PS5 because it has the games I want to play on it.
But I would say neither of them really has anything at launch that's making me go like, oh, I'm going to get one as soon as it releases.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to wait for it to be cheaper because they're not coming out with stuff right away that I'm like, I have to get my hands on that. Everything's getting delayed.
I wait a few weeks
Cyberpunk,
until
but-
Cyberpunk finally admit that they've got partnerships with Sony and that they're going to release a special edition with all these things, exclusive PS4. That's going to happen, and that's why they've...
That's when
But
they pushed
isn't
it back.
Cyberpunk released on
That's why they pushed it
PS4
back.
as well?
Hmm?
Cyberpunk's released on PS4
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
So why do I need a PS5?
Oh, yeah, that was announced today. So, you know, Cyberpunk, you can get on PS4 and you transfer it over to PS5
Yes.
free of charge. Activision, nah. They came out today. The console versions have been released. Unless you get the Ultimate Edition, similarly to
Similarly to
NBA,
NBA.
you won't get the free upgrade
Which
next
I
year.
believe
it's
is-
gonna-
Oh, it's like they did with Control.
yeah, but we got you
See,
get
that I don't mind. The thing with me is like NBA 2K21 is coming out next month. Call of Duty is obviously coming out further down the line, but those are two games that are really close to the PS5's release date, like super.
But you
super
get
close.
two details from that though, because you also find out
Yes.
that Call of Duty that normally releases in November, which is when the console's coming out, is now showing that that's going to release early. So maybe that's going to release in like September, October.
But the thing for me is like Control. That's a game that's already been out for a year and a half, and they're only you get in thinking because they're releasing an Ultimate Edition, which you still do get the free upgrade to PS5 with the Ultimate Edition. You just don't get it if you've got the regular edition, which you paid for a year ago, which I completely understand.
Yeah, but didn't they say like one of the whole things when they were doing this lead up to the PS5 launch was, you know, it's backwards compatible so you can play all these games on it and all this and
They said it's backwards compatible,
You
but
just
then
won't get
yeah,
the
but then
new
they're now
version.
kind of putting in like, yeah, but you can't actually play this game properly unless you buy this Ultimate version, which wasn't available when you first bought the game.
Yeah.
You'll be
So
able
if you
to
want to,
play
you
it.
have to play. It's like, make
But
your mind
again,
up.
like
You'll be
I've
able
played Control, so like at the end of the day, it's not going to make a massive difference to me to play it on the PS5.
No, I don't. I haven't
You'll
got
still
it
be able to
yet,
play them. Like you'll be able to play the new
Just-
COD, the
just seems
PS4 disc on
shady.
PS5. It's just not going to be as next gen. But it's not that much of a difference. Like Ghosts came out on Xbox 360. You could then take it up to Xbox One, and it wasn't a huge difference, to be honest. Like if you paid for it, you do whatever. I'm hoping to just get the edition that lets me get it on both, but I think that's a stupid decision to do. Release a game a month early on purpose because Call of Duty always releases in November. They're going to now release it in October just to get double sales, which I just don't think is a very good thing. And I think that's been leaked today. It's not been officially announced, but I think when that is officially announced, there's going to be a really bad backlash over that. And I think they might maybe reconsider that whole thing because that's a really bad marketing tactic. 'Cause you know
Especially
what
when
worked,
they've
it's-
been doing so well on the marketing tactics
Recently,
so
yeah.
far this year. Like the whole Warzone thing, it's been really, really good. It's been refreshing from a company to take it to another level where you've had to go back to old games to find out about the next game. Like that's
I mean, I
genius.
still love that like the title for like the next Call of Duty got leaked in the
Doritos
Doritos packet.
package.
That's one of just my
Well,
favorite moments from this year.
When
in
this
gaming.
podcast releases, we will have known everything about the game because it's getting announced tomorrow in Warzone. It's their first live action event in the
Ooh.
game.
And you, if you are listening now, you could have watched that.
We
A
also
week
have a
earlier.
reaction video.
Yeah,
much
you
like
could
on
have
Game Verdict.
watched that on
Which
Gaming
doesn't
Verdict.
exist yet, but does exist now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a weird thought, isn't it?
Time.
Time is just time is made up.
Okay, Time will stand the test of time.
Oh no.
So what game from current gen then do you think will stand the test of time?
Current gen, they're obvious. Like,
Current gen, they
Last
are
of Us
obvious.
2 is one.
Yep.
I'm
that.
lost.
I
Ghost
don't
of
think,
Tsushima.
no,
I haven't played
I don't agree with you on that.
Have you played it?
You've
That's
told
what
me
I thought.
about it, but
You
I
haven't
don't
played
agree it'll hold up
Why? Last of Us 1
because of
hold
the
up.
story elements of it.
Nah.
Because there's so many shocking story elements that you only get one time.
Yeah,
see what you
I'm
mean.
still a bit emotionally traumatized from it, but I would go back and play it again, 100%, because they have a new Game Plus feature.
Okay, fair enough. But that's the same with like God of War. God of War, I'd to go back. The new one on the PS4, I would go back and play any day of the week. Same with like Witcher. Witcher, I go back to every few months and do
The
a new-
Witcher is one that'll hold up. That'll get ported to PS5.
That
Same
would-
with
yeah.
Skyrim. That'll hold the test of time.
Like
Ding ding. Oh,
Charlie's energy came through the microphone.
I know it hasn't released yet, but it's releasing in a few weeks. And from what we've seen of it and what I've played of like the older versions, I think Baldur's Gate 3 looks like it's going to be able to stand up to the test of time. But just because, like I said about the story elements, just from what we've seen that they've talked about, is there's a huge replayability, because if you build a character differently, you're going to have different options. Every time you interact with a character that's a different option, you can play this game over and over and over again and have a completely different experience every time. The way that they've made it, there are thousands and thousands of dialogue options. And I just think there's so much replayability in that. And having played, like, I'm playing through the original Baldur's Gate at the moment on my Switch. And even that, like, every encounter you get, you're like, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to approach this one? It's going to affect everything in the game. And looking at this new one, I mean, I can't wait. I really can't wait. It's a D&D video game.
She's been waiting a very long time for this next gen version.
It's not next gen. The early release comes out September. Well,
It
it might do, but I mean, early release is September 30th. So early access even.
I think the obvious ones like Last of Us 2. Yeah, I'd go to Tsushima maybe, but I don't know how.
What?
Goes to Tsushima. I think it's Tsushima, but it's Tsushima. I learned that from listening to the word Tsushima 1,000 times. They'll hold up. And then when Crash Bandicoot releases, that'll always hold up. Crash Bandicoot will always have a place in history of gaming.
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's held up.
Yeah.
Skyrim again.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And that's it from the WePC podcast this week. This has been episode 8.
Yeah.
You can't see it; it's invisible ink.
I'd love the camera to switch was, but it died. So.
It died.
So
it always does. It did this the other week.
Voices off screen.
It did this the other week, so you've just got to deal with me. But you know that's not bad because you don't have to look at Jay and Danielle.
I'm sorry that we have to do that to you, but
yeah, it's our apologies.
It's not very nice. But anyway, we're finishing up now, and say bye to the people. You two. I've been Elliot. That's Jay and Danielle. You can't see them, but they are waving.
We're still here.
Come into this.
I'm committed. Hello.
My arms are long.
Jesus Christ, Danielle, just come around here. There's enough microphone for everybody. We've been WePC.
And we'll see you next week. Oh, she sneaked it in. She snuck it in.